At Saturday night's main event, XLI, Liv Morgan responds to Dominik Mysterio holding on to the WWE Intercontinental Championship. When Dominik Mysterio won the WWE Intercontinental Championship again, Liv Morgan responded. He won main event XLI on Saturday night, defeating Rusev and Penta. Morgan's injury has prevented him from appearing on WWE television. After Mysterio assisted her in retaining the championship against Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam last year, the former Women's World Champion joined the Judgment Day faction. Morgan responded to Mysterio, defeating Rusev and Penta on X. When Mysterio rang the bell in the closing seconds of the bout, Rusev thought that Penta had tapped out to his accolade. Dirty Dom was able to capitalize on this and pinned Rusev to keep the title. Bill Apter gave Dominik Mysterio a lot of praise and said that if he had to pick one wrestler for Wrestler of the Year, he would pick Mysterio. Apter talked on Mysterio's slow development as a wrestler and a person on the wrestling time machine. The Intercontinental Champion's healing abilities have also impressed the veteran. Dominik Mysterio would be my choice for Wrestler of the Year if I had to choose one for today, October 28th, 2025. He's remarkable now, if you consider how much he has changed as a person and as a character from this tall, lanky child who knew little but what his father did. I choose him to be the 2025 WWE Wrestler of the Year since he has turned into a major heel. At WrestleMania 41, Mysterio took home the Intercontinental Championship. He defeated Braun Breaker in a fatal four-way match that also featured Finn Balor and Penta. Mysterio has successfully defended the championship against Penta, Octagon Jr., AJ Styles, and other elite competitors since taking it home at the grandest stage of them all. But Rhea Ripley finally returned to WWE in mid-2024 after missing months due to injuries and internal conflict. And it wasn't just a comeback, it was a takeover. The night her eerie music returned, the crowd exploded. The arena was filled with purple haze as the lights went down. Fans briefly believed they were dreaming, but it was evident that Mommy was back, and that she meant business when Rhea Ripley made her stage debut wearing her signature smile and new black and silver outfit. The WWE Universe shuddered at her opening remarks. The division softened while I was away. I'm here to remind you who is in charge of this fucking place, not to blend in. The audience let forth a roar. Ripley had come back as a force of nature as well as a rival. Rhea has changed since her return. She was hardened by her absence. Her eyes were colder, and she was not smiling as much. Her intensity looked to be too much for even her Judgment Day partners, Dominik Mysterio, Finn Balor, and Damian Priest. Her reappearance was first welcomed by the faction, but soon rifts started to appear. Rhea took charge, pointing up Dominik's shortcomings and questioning Priest's leadership. She was willing to use force if necessary to gain the control she desired. The first person to confront Rhea was Becky Lynch, who is currently the spokesperson for the women's division. Their advertisements were ferocious and brimming with unfiltered passion. Becky: "This is my division now, Rhea. You've been gone too long." "Then I'll like ripping it out of your hands," said Rhea. The two faced off in one of the most vicious women's battles in recent memory at SummerSlam 2024. Everything was allowed, including seats, tables, and shackles. In order to eventually pin Becky clean, Rhea struck a devastating riptide through a table. The audience was in disbelief. The Nightmare had regained its lead. Rhea began to eclipse her teammates with her domination. Torn between fear and loyalty, Dominik attempted to keep the gang together, but emotions erupted at Clash at the Castle. Rhea unintentionally hit Priest during a tag bout, and she lost it when he later placed the blame on her. The Judgment Day came to an abrupt end when Rhea riptided Damian Priest through the announce table. After that night, Ripley proclaimed herself the Queen of Chaos and stood by herself. Now that she was independent, Rhea concentrated on winning the Women's World Championship again. This time, her opponent, an emerging talent, Lyra Valkyria. The plot was based on mentorship, distorted by treachery, pride, and dominance. Years had passed since Rhea had trained Lyra, and now her erstwhile pupil was in her path. An instant classic, their match at Survivor Series 2024 was a contest between anger and respect. After winning, Rhea had a brief moment of emotion, nodded to Lyra before hoisting her title. Her triumph at the Survivor Series behind-the-scenes video of her training and mental preparation, the energy of Rhea is unmatched by anyone. She is an era, not just a wrestler. Once more, the Queen of Chaos is in charge. Via sheer willpower and devastation, rather than via partnerships or showmanship, Rhea Ripley had redefined domination. She didn't simply rejoin WWE in 2024, it belonged to her. But over Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, the stadium lights were blazing brightly. There were more than 60,000 people in the crowd, and they were all yelling with excitement. Everyone had been anticipating this moment, the Women's World Championship matchup between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. For months, the rivalry had been simmering. A one-on-one title bout versus her old friend, Mommy Rhea Ripley, was the culmination of months of mind games, betrayals, and surprise assaults for Liv Morgan. First to emerge was Liv Morgan. As her song Watch Me began to play, the lights went down to a spooky glow. Her new appearance, which featured dark silver and black leather, was a reflection of her perverse preoccupation with gold and retribution. "Tonight, it's mine," she muttered as she grinned wickedly at the camera. Rhea Ripley followed. Brutality was played and the audience roared. Rhea made an appearance with the Women's World title gleaming on her shoulder while sporting her trademark black spikes and chains. She looked directly at Liv with rage instead of a sneer or fear. After interfering at Money in the Bank, Dominik Mysterio was barred from ringside, leaving Rhea to confront Liv by herself. The contest burst into anarchy as the bell rang. Rhea launched a powerbomb right away, but Liv countered with a Hurricane Rana after twisting in midair. In the first minute, Liv almost pinned Rhea to the ground with a running knee to her face, causing the crowd to gasp. However, Rhea bounced back quickly. She hoisted Liv and used a riptide attempt to knock her down, but Liv wriggled free and rolled out of the arena with a sly smile. The two fought outdoors as Rhea followed. "Oh, you ruined me, Rhea," Liv yelled as she slammed Rhea's skull on the steel stairs. "I wreck you now," Rhea retaliated with a powerful clothesline that almost turned Liv over. Neither of them cared when the referee yelled for them to go back inside. Rhea regained control of the ring. She used her natural strength to dominate Liv, sending her falling with a headbutt, a brutal dropkick, and suplex after suplex. "Liv, you'll never be me," she mocked her. "You will never be, ma'am." "I don't want to be you, Rhea," Liv spat back, smirking despite her injuries. "I want to defeat you." When the referee wasn't looking, Liv then scraped Rhea's eyes before shocking the champion with a codebreaker. She hit a diving DDT after scaling the top rope. She paid for one, too. "No." Rhea left. Liv pounded the mat and screamed in exasperation. "This is awesome," the fans chanted. Round 3, Emotion and Chaos. When Rhea caught Liv mid-springboard and delivered a riptide, the momentum changed once more. However, Liv's foot struck the rope just before the 3 count. It was unbelievable to Rhea. The victor became frantic. Screaming for Liv to tap, she locked her in the prism lock. Liv screamed in agony as she clawed for the ropes, and when it appeared to be over, she bit Rhea's wrist to release herself. Suddenly, Liv hid in oblivion. On the mat, both women lay still. The official began to count. Both women stood at the count of 8, feeling emotional, angry, and exhausted. In the center of the ring, they traded blows. Rhea's eyes were filled with pride and hatred, while Liv's were filled with sorrow and rage. The conclusion? A startling development. Liv attempted another oblivion, but Rhea stopped her in her tracks and delivered a second riptide, this time right through the outside announcement table. Rhea rolled Liv back into the ring, shocking the referee. The lights flickered just as she was ready to cover. The audience burst out. Despite being banned, Dominik Mysterio showed up to ringside and yelled, "Mommy, finish her!" However, while the referee was checking Dominik, Liv grabbed a steel chair and slammed it on Rhea's leg, causing his distraction to backfire. Once more, Liv struck an oblivion, this time on the chair, threw it away, and pinned. Rhea's eyes were wide with shock as she lay on the mat, gripping her knee. Liv clutched the title while sitting on the mat with tears in her eyes. "I promise to take everything from you," she said. Liv blew him a kiss, laughed uncontrollably, and held the championship above her head while Dominik looked scared. The EMTs checked on Rhea while Liv celebrated. A replay of the chair shot, the one that made all the difference, was displayed on the screen. The invincible Mommy, Rhea Ripley, was overthrown. WWE executives intimated backstage that Liv's reign of chaos had only just begun and that Rhea had sustained a major knee injury. With the Women's World title in hand and a confident stance on the ramp, Liv Morgan whispered to the camera as SummerSlam 2024 came to a close. But it was an electrifying night. thousands of spectators crowded into Madison Square Garden, which has been turned into a global platform for the Netflix premiere of Monday Night Raw, watched as the red and black arena lights danced like fire. History was about to be made as the audience cheered and the cameras rolled. The main event of WWE Raw, which was streamed live on Netflix for the first time, was the Women's World Championship matchup between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, which fans had been anticipating for months. Liv Morgan had fought her way back into the running for the championship after months of mayhem, treachery, and mind games. The women's division had been living in the shadow of Rhea Ripley ever since her unexpected comeback in early 2024, when she was more powerful, dark, and in control than before. Rhea had defeated rivals like Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and Raquel Rodriguez. Liv Morgan, however, was unfazed. After being placed on the shelf due to Rhea's vicious attack, she had spent months recuperating. Liv said she would bring hell with her when she returned. She was hazardous with her new attitude, no grins, no teasing, just total concentration. Liv identified as the Unbroken One. The lights in the arena went dark as the Netflix cameras panned over the yelling fans. A dazzling white illumination accompanied an eerie guitar riff. Through the speakers, the words, "This is my brutality," were sounded. Rhea Ripley came out wearing a leather jacket, a smirk of assurance, and a title on her shoulder. Cheers and jeers erupted from the crowd. She had the appearance of a combat-ready warrior. Then Liv arrived. Her eyes sparkled with fury, and she was dressed in silver and black. She moved carefully down the slope while keeping her gaze fixed on Rhea. As the audience yelled her name, her theme song, "Watch Me," reverberated around the arena with greater intensity than before. Rhea pushed Liv into the corner, displaying her typical ferocity. Liv retaliated with rapid attacks, including a dropkick to the chest, kicks, and forearms. Liv ducked and hit a springboard stunning, sending Rhea reeling as she shrugged it off and rushed. "Tonight, Liv Morgan came to fight," exclaimed the commentator. However, Rhea's strength was unparalleled. The ring trembled as she grabbed Liv in midair and hit her with a powerbomb. 1, 2, Liv was expelled. "Let's go, Liv," chanted the supporters. "Ripley is supreme." Liv's spine was severely bent as Rhea grinned and locked in her vicious prism trap. Liv was asked whether she wanted to quit by the referee. Despite Liv's cries, she refused. She rolled through in a desperate twist, pinning Rhea's shoulders for a startling near fall. As the fight continued, Rhea unintentionally collided with the referee, knocking him down. The arena let forth a gasp. When Liv saw her opportunity, she seized a steel chair and rolled out of the ring. Then she paused. Her gaze shifted from Rhea to the chair. The audience was tense. "Liv, don't do it," a voice called out from the front row. However, Rhea arose behind her with a chilly chuckle, resembling a nightmare. She snarled, "You're too weak to finish me." Rhea caught the chair when Liv flung it. She grabbed it out of Liv's grasp and tossed it to the side. Liv then twisted in midair and turned it back into a DDT after Rhea lifted her for a riptide. The fans went crazy. As the referee regained consciousness, Liv scurried for cover. 1, 2, Rhea was expelled. Both women had damaged faces, were breathless, and were fatigued. Anger and resolve were blazing brightly in their eyes as the Netflix broadcast focused on them. Ascending the ropes, Liv gestured to the Oblivion, her finisher. Rhea caught her again after she jumped. As Rhea attempted another riptide, the crowd erupted in screams, but Liv responded with a sunset flip pin. "Your winner, Liv Morgan, the new Women's World Champion, is here." From the ceiling, confetti dropped. Liv fell to her knees and held the title while tears ran down her cheeks. Clinging to her ribs, Rhea sat outside the ring in astonishment, gazing at the woman who had finally defeated her. The Netflix cameras caught a dramatic close-up of Liv speaking into the microphone as she held the trophy high. "You broke me once, Rhea. However, it was me who broke you." As the screen went blank, the audience repeatedly yelled her name, "Liv Morgan! Liv Morgan!" The credits began to roll, a vicious, heartbreaking, and unforgettable match that ushered in a new era for women's wrestling was the masterpiece that Raw and Netflix had produced. Rhea Ripley grinned and muttered to herself someplace backstage. "Liv, enjoy your moment, since I'm coming to reclaim my title." Greetings and welcome to my channel, dear viewers. I hope you're having a great day. I'm Lima. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the video.